Das, CMD at IREDA, joins in on the show right now. Mr. Das, great to have you today on ET Now. Welcome once again. I want to start off by discussing the Prime Minister's announcement recently of an outlay of 75,000 crore rupees for the PM Solar Rooftop program. Tell me, what role would you play in this kind of a program, and how much of a business do you actually see coming in for you from this?
Good morning, guys, and good morning to your co-journalist. And very good morning to all the viewers also. First of all, let us understand this Honorable Prime Minister's announcement of solarization of 1 crore household. If you look at the gigawatt addition with respect to installed capacity of 500 gigawatt, rooftop solar is considered 40 gigawatt only, out of which already 10 gigawatt has already been achieved. So 30 gigawatt additional business. Whereas we have around 320 gigawatt of additional business to reach that 500 gigawatt. So this rooftop solarization is having much more significance with respect to the awareness building pan-India, not only the electricity consumers, but also the entire value chain in the space. So already 75,000, that is perhaps going to be the subsidy part, what Government of India is going to part with. And if you see the total business kind of thing, total investment kind of thing, it will be around 1.2, 1.25 lakh crore, which REC has already been announced that, being the nodal agency for that. So debt component will be around some 40 to 50,000 crore. So that is not a big amount as far as business is concerned. But that will be a tool for enabling the environment which can be created better business for others. See, to be very frank, prior to our IPO, IREDA, despite working in this field and despite being a pure green finance in the country, we are not known that much, except our borrowers, except our lenders, by and large. Others are not knowing. And this we had experienced during our roadshow. And that was, in a sense, kind of negative as well as positive for us when we talked about our success story of financing around 1.15 lakh crores in last 36 and a half years till September 2023 as well as till December 2023. Our cumulative write-off is only 202 crores. So being the largest green finance company and having been financing since the challenging and emerging era since 3.5 decades, despite our cumulative write-up is 202 crore. And you can look into any project finance company in India or globally also. You will not find that kind of thing. So this has established the kind of confidence for the RE players and RE consumers, RE value chain, and in the country as a whole. And already Government of India have been giving series of incentives, inputs, policy measures for developing this sector. Solar has grown almost 24, 25 times in last 10 years, 9.5 years. But other renewables are also need to gear up that way. Particularly, we are an agro-based economy. Another segment of solarization, that is PM KUSUM scheme, that has also gained momentum. And I'm sure through this rooftop solar mechanism, the kind of awareness will be built up. I'm confident that KUSUM scheme also going to take up. And once the residential rooftops 1 crore gets solarized and the agriculture space gets solarized, huge amount of impact will be there in the country with respect to sensitizing and educating the consumers at large that when you are consuming 1 unit of thermal, directly or indirectly, you have contributed to 750 grams of CO2. So when you are consuming renewable energy, 1 unit, definitely you are not doing that. So that is most important.
So, Mr. Das, morning. Just wanted to understand then for the overall retail business as well, given that you've recently forayed into it, what kind of contribution are you expecting and how do you plan to scale it up? A quick word.
See, today our large book is purely project finance and a very bigger percentage is then in retail space. We started this activity almost 1 to 1.5 years back. We have done indirectly retail financing through small NBFCs in the country. since this space is not gaining momentum, so and we are the pioneer in this financing and who understand the nuances fastest in the country. So we decided to, and there is a lot of demand, including our ministry, that we should see that the sector gets bankable and gets matured. So we created a vertical. And in the NBFC space, if you see, our financing is around 31% of the market share in NBFC space. So when we go into retail, because retail is completely a different ballgame, but we have fully geared up now. We are getting into a separate vertical as well as separate subsidiary company. We have already written to our ministry to permit us to have a separate subsidiary company because we do not want to mix up these things. Since we are being today a listed company, our quality of accounts so far, what we have maintained, and quality of governance, what we have exhibited, that we need to sustain. Because we are confident as long as we keep on delivering the speedy appraisal process and accurate maximum level of accuracy in our appraisal process and continuous reduction in our NPA. If you look at our net NPA has been drastically reducing since last 3 to 3.5 years. So having business is not important thing. Having very sensible business and qualitative business, that is what important. And we have established that. And I am confident we are going to have quite a good fair amount of share in that retail space because the borrowers as well as the stakeholders, they have very good trust and confidence on us, our appraisal mechanism, as well as our ease of doing business.
Wanted to pick up on the NPA point that you were just making. Clearly seems you're quite confident of maintaining this trend, which is easing off on your NPAs.
See, during IPO roadshow, our NPA was around more than 2% net NPA. And it was the prospective investor was very categorical. The way you are drastically reducing, what is the level of sustainability? We said we are confident and everybody wants what is the figure. So nobody can talk about a future figure with accuracy, but we are confident of our systematic and systemic way of improving the things within the organization as well as improving the systems. That has yielded to now come down to 1.52. And mind it, unlike other NBFCs who have their portfolio largely on government loan and very meager amount, maybe 8 to 10%, 20% private sector loans, and out of that hardly 7 to 12% or 18% renewable loans. Ours is pure renewable, and almost around 75 to 80% of our loan book is private sector, and NPA happens by and large in private sector. So despite that, we are continuously successful in reducing. There are two things. One, doing the appraisal process in a very professional manner and sharing the information with proper transparency with the prospective borrowers. We do not believe in just grabbing business, then ending up in a problem, then borrowers should not feel, sir, we are not aware of this thing. So we want to bring fair amount of awareness with respect to our existing process, policy, procedures, as well as what is the business scenario going on. And even our stakeholders, we do every quarter our borrower meets. We don't call them borrowers, we call them business partners. The moment we consider them business partners, we have to be more concerned or concerned for them. And also at the same time, they have to exhibit their concern for us. Through this two-way exchange of information, we have been quite successful. I think if you look at in March 20, we had 92 and odd NPA accounts. The number sounds pretty big. When I said cumulative write-up is 202 crore, and when at the same time I'm talking 92 NPA accounts, appears to be contradictory, but it is not. The accounts are very small accounts, and decision was to be taken. And we have almost sorted out more than 1/3 of that account, and 99% cases we have recovered our principal as well as simple interest on that. That doesn't happen. You look at any other project finance banking industry, when you go for settlement, you have to go for a haircut.
Sure.
We did not have that much.
Sure.
Haircut or write-off is exception to us.
Absolutely. No, we just wanted to get a sense on the trend. So clearly it's on the decline. The other thing, Mr. Das, very quickly that I want to ask is, apart from solar, what's the plan to increase your exposure to wind, ethanol, any other verticals?
I think as on date, perhaps we are the largest NBFC in ethanol space. If you take the banks, okay, fine, they are also now showing keen interest, initially not that much. But last 18-20 months, we have already financed quite a fair amount of ethanol as well as compressed biogas, and also ventured into e-mobility space. So these are the area which is emerging. And then the new area like green hydrogen and green storage, these are going to come. So if you look at our today book size, around 80% of our assets are generation assets. So in peculiar in non-fossil based industry, when the project is commissioned, you hardly look for any O&M cost, negligible. So you have to only manage with a discipline your interest cost. And as long as that is happening, your account is fully secured. And post commissioning, there is always a opportunity for arbitrage by the developers. We have brought in a systemic changes in our interest rate matrix, the pre-COD, COD, post-COD, and post-COD of 1 year. 4 different kind of rates you are going to get. And that is happening automatically in a systemic manner. So that is there. And we'll focus on having at least most of the time 70% of our assets as commissioned asset, so that will enable completely de-risked portfolio in our book. And in new and emerging, because our name is Renewable Energy Development, and our ministry's name also new and renewable, and we are the extended arm. So our prime responsibility is to venture into new and emerging space and support that and get into the nascent stage, handhold the developer, and give the input to our ministry what kind of policy or process, procedure, measures they need to bring in, so that the sector gets fair amount of maturity. Then we can leave it to competition.
All right, appreciate your time. Thank you for giving us a lot more clarity on how the business is shaping up, your improvement in your NPA ratios, as well as the outlook in terms of the solarization of the agri sector. And take a look at that stock. Clearly giving a thumbs up to that commentary. IREDA is locked in upper circuit.